Hello there and welcome to Back Paddock Software Training. In this video we'll be covering SoilMate, how to do a recommendation and including the GrainNPlan. Now the first thing we'll do is open up our SoilMate on our desktop and you'll open up onto the dashboard. Today the button that we'll be using is the recommendations button, so I'll go ahead and click on that. And now I welcome a member of our technical services team who will be showing us how to go through a recommendation.
Right, well we're going to create a new recommendation. So we go to the create new button there and we press on that, and most commonly you'll be choosing the last added barcode because that's the one you've just added, or you've added a series of them and you'll be choosing from the top of the menu. So this is the one we want to do today. It's a shallow and two deep tests, two associated deep tests. So we're going to do a grain shallow and two deep. So we'll just wait while that loads up. We'll give the recommendation a name, and we're going to do wheat for Darling Downs. Give it a name that means something, like now and also in the future. If you want to come back and find this recommendation, make sure you give it a name. Perhaps the grower's name is in there as well, or the season or something like that. But you can find it and relate to it in the months and years ahead. So we've completed that. Now we go next, and yes, we're going to choose wheat, rain grown, Darling Downs, Queensland. So this has already was input earlier on in the session, and we need to select the district. Well, obviously not Narrabri because we were saying it's Darling Downs, so let's choose Dalby. Okay, and let's choose a soil type. Let's choose a black vertisol, very common in that part of the world. And what the black vertisol, what this does is starts to set up the bulk density of the soil for our nitrogen determination, our soil mineral N. Okay, so this is the SoilMate evaluation wizard with our sampling date, planting date, and harvest date. Now I'm not sure, this one looks as if it's been set up for sorghum or something, so we need to just change this. Let's bring it forward to this year for a start, and let's go back to say April for a sample date. Let's make the planting date not 2012 but 2014. Let's make it May 2014, and the harvest date obviously will be 2014 and probably sometime in November for the Darling Downs. Okay, all those dates are important because that determines the length over time over which mineralization from organic carbon is occurring. Okay, so it's important we get that pretty accurate. Now down below here you have the target yields, so you're expecting 3 tonne per hectare with a yield variation of 10%. Now it might be a bit drier than you think, and you might say, oh no, I just want to make that a bit bigger variation, so I've increased that to plus or minus 20%. Now you'll see the yield goes from 2.4 to 3 to 3.6. So what we do, we've got 3 scenarios happening here. We'll get 3 nitrogen rates based on the expected yield and the protein, and probably 12 is probably a bit high, so we'll just reduce that to 11.5. Now in this top right hand corner here there is a default button. Now this default button can be important because down here we need to input the bulk density, and what the default button will do is to allow us to, it will give us the bulk density for those 3 different soil depths for a black vertisol at Dalby. So I'm going to click that default button now, and it comes up with a warning. We'll override data entered for bulk densities, yields and proteins, so we might just have to check our yields and proteins after this. and yes, it has altered it. But there's our bulk density now, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, and it did revert to 12% protein, which I want to change back to 11.5, but it did leave the yields as they were, as I had set them up. Okay, and the planting date and harvest date, everything else is fine there. So now we can move on. If we're satisfied there, we can move on using the next button. Now, paddock history. So this takes into account things like, you know, legume crops and mineralization from legume crops and that sort of thing, or lack of mineralization from non-legume crops. So I'm going to say for last year it was a cereal crop, and 2 years ago was also a cereal crop, a barley crop, and there's been no manure history in this paddock. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to move ahead and hit the finish button. So now it's bringing all the data together from the evaluation table for wheat with the 3 soil test report results. What we've got here, we've got wheat, Darling Downs, which was the evaluation table. And you'll notice we've got 3 tabs here: the evaluation tab, the recommendation tab, and the details of reports tab. And we'll be using all 3 of those. But we start off at the evaluation tab, and I might just see if I can drag this down a bit. Just want to see a bit more of that screen. So over here it's telling us obviously the things that are in green are satisfactory status. The blue is high, green is satisfactory, the red is probably low, yes, so the nitrate nitrogen is low. There's our nitrogen rate there, 52 kilograms of N per hectare. Our phosphorus is, well, there's 2 phosphorus readings. There's a cobalt phosphorus of 17, which is quite low, and a BSES phosphorus of 100, which is not too bad. So the combined phosphorus rate is 11 kilograms of P per hectare. That's what the evaluation table is suggesting. Down here, potassium 0.99, so that's quite high, but sulfur is only 2.2. So once sulfur gets, and that's the KCl sulfur, so it is quite low, and so the evaluation table is suggesting we put on 15 kilograms of sulfur per hectare in this case here. And as we see there, so sulfur is low at 2.2, and it's in red. Magnesium is high at 12, so it's probably a sticky verticil soil. Everything else is in the green. Zinc is a bit low at 0.32. So what we should do then for zinc, we can't ignore it. What I want to do there is have a look in the comment section. Okay, so what we're in the 0.32, so this is the comment here, this second one, and it's saying actually deploy 1. Oh, actually it is recommending 1 kilogram of zinc per hectare, and here it is down the bottom here. Down here, 1 kilogram of zinc per hectare against this zinc here. Okay, and this is the comment that will appear. So what's it say? What's this comment telling us? Zinc availability is moderate and unlikely to severely limit production, but it's only moderate. It's not high. So it's it is recommending 1 kilogram per hectare of zinc, and that would be, you know, pretty close to the seed at planting as in a band. Okay, so we can have a read of that. We come over here. I want to have a look at the GrainNPlan, because this is taking the nitrogen and the ammonium, the nitrate nitrogen and the ammonium values for all 3 depths, 0 to 10, 10 to 30, and 30 to 60. Okay, and it's calculating the rate of nitrogen. So coming over here, let's have a look. GrainNPlan. So we set this up before, Dolby, Black Verticil, their planting and harvest dates, with our target yields and our target protein, and the nitrogen transfer efficiency is 53%. So 53% of the nitrogen that's available in the soil or through fertilizer will end up in the above ground parts of the plant. Okay. Now, paddock details we set up before. Now the output summary. This is the one we want to have a look at here. Use to recalculate. We can say yes to that. So what we have here, crop N recommendations, 3 rates, 29 kilograms of N per hectare, 52 and 75. And the one that's transferred across into the evaluation tab is the 52. This is the one that's come across here. Okay. Now it has come from down here, 3 tonne per hectare at the grain protein of 11.5% removes 60 kilograms of N per hectare versus 48 for a 2.4 tonne per hectare crop versus 72 for a 3.6 tonne per hectare crop. Now the grain N demand is 114.2, so that's 60.53 divided by the nitrogen transfer efficiency. So in total this crop requires 114 kilograms of N per hectare. Now in the soil there is 52 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare in the 3 depths. Okay, 52, so it's 114 minus 52, and the soil mineralisation credits coming from the organic carbon between sampling and about a month before harvest, only an amount of 10 kgs per hectare will become available during that lengthy period. So what we have left then is 114 required, total of 114 minus 52 minus 10, so minus 62, which gives us 62 from 114 gives us 52, a net 52 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare for our mid yield of 3 tonne per hectare and for 11.5% grain protein. Okay, so that's the 52. We'll now come across here and we can calculate that, but it's already been calculated. We can close that down and there's the 52 there. Okay, 52 of N, 11 of P, 15 of sulfur and 1 of zinc. So we hit the recommendation tab now. We should see that 52 kilograms of N has come across, 11 of phosphorus, 15 of sulfur and 1 of zinc, as we said. So what we need now is a planting fertilizer for this crop that'll put on all the nitrogen, all the phosphorus, probably nearly all the sulfur and the zinc, and possibly at least some of the nitrogen. Okay, and the NP ratio will depend on whether you use an MAP or a DAP based product. So what we can do then is we can use on the right hand side here we've got these 3 choices. Add wizard last used. Now when you get into the system and you're using, you've set several recommendations up, then you can choose last used, but in this case here we haven't set several up, so we've got a choice of add or wizard. So what we'll do, we'll try the wizard, and we're going to go for a solid dry product at planting, and we're going to try and optimize. We'll choose a fertilizer and optimize the rate. Okay, so what we're going to try and do, and we hit the next button, and we've got to give preference to the N, the P, the S or the zinc. Now I suggest for most cropping situations at planting the preference is given to phosphorus. So we tick on phosphorus, and we're going to, now by doing that, every fertilizer that comes up with a rate will put on exactly 11 kilograms of P per hectare. Okay, the amount of N and S and zinc they put on will vary depending on what the fertilizer is, but we're choosing based on 11 kilograms of P per hectare. So we go next, once again, to take us forward to the next step, and this is going through and choosing from 1,006 items, coming up with a range of products for us to choose. So the products towards the top are the best fitting products, and as you go down the bottom you get lesser fitting products. So over here, let's have a look at this second one here, Enrich 32 zinc 1% in SciTech Pivot, 118 kilograms per hectare, will apply 37 of nitrogen, 11 kilograms of phosphorus per hectare, only 1 of sulfur, and I think we wanted 15, so a bit of a problem there, and the 1 of zinc. So it's rated on the phosphorus and the zinc. It's done a fair job with the nitrogen. Not that we needed all the nitrogen then, but it has left us short of the zinc. So I just want to have a look at this one here. 19.9 of nitrogen, 11 of phosphorus, 16 of sulfur, and 1.2 of zinc. That suits our requirements better. Okay, so what is that one? Victory plus. Okay, well, it's possibly not a fertilizer that you are familiar with, but it fits the bill here. So I think we might choose that one, or this one up here. Let's have a look at this one. NP, no, yeah, this one fits the bill as far as what we need to apply. So I'm going to choose that one. Now what we have now is a product, but okay, and we've got possibly a rate. No, we may not have a rate yet. But what we've got to do, we've got to fill out the application and the timing comment. So product, rate, application, and timing. The 4 R's, the right product at the right rate, in the right place, at the right time. So the software forces us to choose an application comment. And we can either go the abbreviated method like this, okay, or we can select the longhand. So what we might do here, I might seeing it's a black vertisol in air seeded pre-plant fertilizer. Okay, I think we might do that one, air seeded pre-plant fertilizer, and the timing. Well, the timing is almost built into that one because it says pre-plant, doesn't it? So pre-plant, look for pre-drill. Okay, and now we can finish. Hit the finish button. Right, we've got a rate of 120.9 kilograms of this Victory plus 1% zinc. So what we should do is round that up. Let's round it to 120. So we round that to 120 down here, and that will just ever so slightly change the rates, but next to none at all. Okay, so the next thing to do now is that's our pre-planting fertilizer, and we're now 32 kilograms of nitrogen short for this crop. So what we've now to do, let's go and select the rest of the program. So we go back to our wizard. Let's this time optimize the fertilizer and rate from a solid dry product, and basically all we need to, we've covered off on the phosphorus, the sulfur and the zinc. So all we need to do now is give the preference to the nitrogen. It's the only thing left, and we press the next button down the bottom, and it's probably going to come up with urea, one would think, at the top as a recommendation. Black urea, NTEC urea, granular urea, granulated urea. So I want to choose the urea of choice for you people. Go next, and once again select an item. Now it wouldn't be common in the Dolby area to put on to top dress nitrogen, but it is in many parts of Australia, so we'll top dress this, and let's suggest that this season we actually did get some rain, or it's predicted we're going to get some rain in the early stages to early growth stages, to put some nitrogen out. So we're going to top dress this at the GS20 stage, and we can press the finish button, and it said 69.8 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare. Well, obviously we want to round that up to 70. Okay, so I'll just show you where we did that down here. I just ran my cursor over the 69.8 and adjusted it with the keypad to make 70 kilograms of urea, granulated urea top dress. Okay, so that's that. So now we have our 52 of N, our 11 of phosphorus, 10.9, 16 of sulfur, 1.2 of zinc. So I'm more than happy with that. We've got our comments, we've got our product, our rate, our application comment, where it's got to be placed in relation to the seed for crop safety and environmental safety, and our timing comment. And that's about efficiency of uptake, putting it on when the crop can utilise it the best. Okay, well look, one thing we haven't done is put in any comments, and we did have a look at that zinc comment before, so I think we might go back to zinc and choose a comment, just so I can show you what I mean by getting a comment. So what I might do, I'm going to run my cursor over the zinc comment. Okay, and I'm going to choose that comment there. I'm going to go Control C, put my cursor down the bottom here, put a space in, go Control V, and I can OK that, and it will come up down the bottom here. Now what I should do is edit that comment. I should go in there and make it specific to this particular paddock, this particular crop, because there's nothing worse than non-edited comments that don't really mean a lot to the soil test recommendation that you're making. So please go in there and edit any of those big comments that you might put in there. The other thing you can do eventually is once you've got a series of your own comments, you can go into this comment section down the bottom here, this comment section, which is for your own advisor save comments. So we'll just have a look at that now. There's possibly, and what you can do, there's just a few in there now, but you can go in there and add your own comments. Okay, and then you can select comments from there. So it just saves you typing your comments out time and time again. You just type them out once and then select from that point on. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that. So I think we can now go to we've done the recommendation, we can go to the Details and Reports tab. Down here you've got a selection of what you can choose to see, and on the right hand side here you've got your page breaks. So this is for formatting, and it's pretty important to have a nice presented report for your grower. Okay, so the more things we tick on here, the more things we will see on our report. So I'm going to tick those on, and I might put, and this is something you can just have a play with yourselves and get it in the format that you want. Okay, so I'm just going to tick those on for the time being, and I might have a look at a quick report. Let's go and have a preview. You can come back and change these later if you want to. If you're not happy with the way the report prints out, you can come back and reformat it using the report and the insertion of page breaks. So to see this properly, I'm just going to reduce that. Okay. So this, as you can see, is a 3-page report. Using this green arrow here, we can move down between the pages. Okay. So let's have a look at page 1. Basically it's a status report. You've got the analytes here, the lab results, the status, coloured status, satisfactory or otherwise, and the sufficiency range here on the right. Okay, so where it fits in the sufficiency range, well, it will appear as a green satisfactory bar. So that's page 1. Go to page 2. And it continues on with the status graphs. It's got the 10 to 30 centimeter status graphs and the 30 to 60 centimeter status graphs. Okay. Then you have the recommendation: product, rate, application, and timing. Okay. There it is, and down the bottom we've got that zinc comment that we put in, okay, that we copied and pasted, that zinc comment. So that's page 2 of this quick report. Let's have a look at page 3. And page 3 is the GrainNPlan, and this is the output summary here, showing the expected yield 3 tonne per hectare in the middle at 11.5% protein. I thought we set up expected yield 3 tonne per hectare, 11.5% protein should have been. Our removal in the grain, 61 kilograms of nitrogen will be removed by that 3 tonne per hectare. At 53% nitrogen transfer efficiency, total requirement for the crop of 114 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare. But down the bottom here, the soil mineral N, soil and the nitrogen in the soil, 52 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare, and the mineralisation credit, what will become available from the organic carbon between sampling and a month before harvest, 10. So there's a 62 kilograms of hectare available to the crop, 62 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare. Take 62 from 114, and you're left with a net 52 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare. Okay, so that was what we put on, have 52 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare. Now you could have, if the season had worked out a bit drier than that, you might have gone closer to 29 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare by reducing our top dressing. Or if we had a very good season and you got the with obviously more rain occurring, you might have decided to increase the nitrogen based on that 75 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare. That's the option that and the management decisions that you need to make as the season unfolds. Okay, so that's the 3-page quick report. Export that to somewhere like My Documents, give it a name, save it, and then print it out here, or I decided I was going to export it, and after I've exported it, I will email it to my grower. So that's basically it. The shallow and associated deeps, I guess that is a simple one for that scenario, but they're not all that simple. There is a bit of work to be done setting them up and understanding what's happening as far as the nitrogen cycle is in that process. Thank you very much.
At Back Paddock, we understand that everybody is different and learns in different ways. To facilitate this and to make our products more accessible for everyone, we have a number of different ways and means of obtaining assistance in any situation. Do you prefer to talk to real people? That's great. We have a friendly team of people on our help desk, always ready to take your call and help you. Would you prefer to have a look at some notes in your own time? That's great. Visit our website www.backpaddock.com.au, go to the Help Desk tab, and you'll be able to find the notes under the relevant program that you're looking for, in this case under SoilMate. Perhaps you'd like to get a personalised training session. That's great. All you need to do is visit our website, go to the Help Desk tab, and then click on the relevant program that you'd like to receive training on. In this case, you'd be looking for training in SoilMate, and then we can actually personalise that training session specifically for you. I'd like to thank you for your time today and look forward to being with you in other training videos.